Hi guys, I'm Garrett.
I'm JD.
This is Investigating Comic Club, where we will chronologically read, review, discuss, and rate specific crucial stories of the medium.
Indeed. And this week we're doing as sort of a companion to our chronological Marvel. We'll be focusing on Marvel's relaunch of the entire X-Men line by architect and writer Jonathan Hickman.
Woohoo!
Mr. Guerin, what is your knowledge of the X-Men and history with it?
My history of X-Men knowledge. Well, it goes back to the movies, of course. For me,
movies or cartoon first? Were you ever a 90s watcher?
I was a 90s watcher of the cartoon.
Okay.
So yeah, I was. I wasn't an avid watcher of that cartoon. I was still that generation of Power Rangers.
Okay.
You know, so, but I do.
You still are.
I still am. But when I think of like the cartoon, I'm like, I do forget that I did watch that.
Okay.
But then you hear the song, you know? The song is the one where you're like, yep, I know, yep. Just the music, the song gets you every time. So that's where my X-Men comes in, but really it wasn't until the movies. That's where I learned the characters of Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, and Logan, well, Wolverine.
Did you enjoy the movies?
I did enjoy the movies.
You're a fan of them?
I was, yeah. So those are the ones that kind of got me into Marvel, you know. But for X-Men to come, I remember when it came out, and I remember being like, "This, I can't wait to go see it." You know, kind of
that initial one, that first
one. Yeah, it was fun to go and watch.
And did you ever pick up or seek out comics from your interest in the movies, or was it just exclusively the movies for you? Pretty much
just the movies.
What about Deadpool? Let's save that. Let's save the Deadpool for a very special episode of Investigating Comic Club that we'll be doing in September. Yeah, my experience with the X-Men, it was fairly quickly after, I think it was about 1988, that I was starting to buy comics off the stands. And maybe, I think it was the Extinction Agenda, which was a big crossover, one of the first crossovers with the X-Men. I remember some of those covers distinctly. Immediately started going back, getting back issues. I would say X-Men was my first comic book characters becoming an addiction. It kept me up at night missing certain issues. And I certainly responded to that outcast feeling. Like I had said previously, comics were to be kind of hidden at that age when I was in middle school or elementary school. I was a shy introvert, and I just connected with the characters specifically. Colossus was, he had a very difficult time expressing himself, but was an artist, feared his own power, what his strength, what he could inflict upon others. He was careful with that. I just loved that character so much. And for many, many years, my collection of X-Men comics, I have boxes and boxes of them. But several years ago, the story came to a natural end for me. There was an issue where Kitty and Colossus are sitting having a picnic, and they say, "I wish we had more time for this." And it was just a beautiful moment. And then Chris Claremont, who I think the world of, he did kind of a future alternate universe ending to X-Men called X-Men The End, which was an 18-issue of how he would end the story. And it's actually, I think, a pretty underrated story. I think it's a beautiful ending. So going into this X-Men relaunch, I have a very satisfied story with a beginning, middle, and end to my X-Men universe. And while we're putting this together, while we've been doing this, that itch, that spark of excitement has started to kind of come back. And I am I'm hopeful. I'm kind of ready. Like, if they capture my imagination and they do a good job, I'll keep eating it. I'll keep feeding off of it, because I feel that undeniable, difficult to express addiction of sequential storyline happening here and the fervor surrounding it. We went to a midnight opening. We're recording this at like 2 in the morning right now. We went to the midnight opening at
Comics Factory
in Pasadena.
Yep.
And it was cool that they opened up and did the midnight showing. We had to look around and see if other stores would be doing it. This was one of the few that we could find in the LA County.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for them for doing it. They put on a good little event, snacks and raffle. I had a good time meeting them. They've been in business for 25 years. Certainly will go back to that shop.
Yeah.
And I would recommend it to others for sure. So here we are with House of X #1 by Jonathan Hickman. So Mr. Guerin, you've barely read any real X-Men comics. This story, even with their long mythology, if they do their job right, this shouldn't feel impenetrable to you. How did you feel reading this guy?
I felt overwhelmed, but excited.
Okay.
Like this, if you are reading this and you read through it, I felt like I was a detective given not encyclopedia, but just the pages in it of like, it tells you story, it gives you this, and then it gives you the database stuff. That was what was cool with it.
I thought that was really
I was like, that is really cool. Like, it's like, we know we're giving you something new, but not like, you know these characters, but we're now bringing you into a world that you haven't been fully a part of. And then to have it to where it's like, okay, this is where they are now, this is what's happening, but also, captain's log kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that was paced out very precisely, deliberately, and executed beautifully. You're reading it and you feel a little lost, but then these pages catch you up on this is what Krakoa is. This is what this is. This is what that is. And it's like, wow, this is dense.
It's a lot of denseness.
But it's giving me goosebumps.
It's one where, before we even go into it, I can't wait to read it again. That's the cool part about it. Where it's like, this is a lot. Like, I knew I had to read it. I had to take notes and figure out what we were going to talk about. But at the same time, it wasn't like, oh, great, okay, what am I going to talk about? No, it was like, it's enough to where I'm like, as much as me not knowing that much about, I know X-Men, again, because of the movies, but each time someone came in, they hit the people you want to see. It's like, what? Like, each page I'm turning, even the moment of him going, oh yeah, there's Professor Xavier over there. Oh, and that's Logan, the hairy guy. And it turned the page, and I'm like, yes. And just didn't even have to say anything. It was just that little montage feeling of...
Yeah, I felt that too. There was a real kind of optimism and hope within those pages that I thought was really lovely. I found myself smiling when Xavier said, "Welcome home, Jean." There was a real beauty to that moment, an elegance to it. This artist, I'm unfamiliar with his work. Pepe Larraz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It looks like he is the penciler and inker himself. He's doing really nice work in this. I see influence from a couple other artists, Olivia Copal and especially Stuart Immelman. But he's got a style of his own that he seems to be developing. I'm unfamiliar with his work, but I found myself grateful that he was doing the art, because there were many moments that I felt the weight of things, and I think that is also a testament to Hickman's pacing of it. Certain, like you said, oh, he's over there with the hairy guy, and you flipped the page and saw them.
Yep.
It was like a reveal.
Hairy guy, name's Logan. Yeah, it's...
And there's Logan smiling.
Yeah, just smiling.
Kids. Honestly, right then when I found myself smiling, I felt, oh, I'm going to hate seeing this being torn down.
Yeah,
I didn't, this little kid and these guys all smiling. That flip to the map.
No, the map, I was like, I don't even know what I wrote for that. I was just like, no, I felt like it was a video game. That's what I was like, oh, this is a map. Okay, cool. I felt like almost as if I'm looking at like the TV show Lost and the map of that, and you're kind of given an outside view. It gives you, I'm like, what? There's multiple places? House of X is only one of these places on this map? Like, what, these other places we get to learn about and go to?
You feel like an explorer.
Yeah, you do. You're just like
investigate this book.
I'm so excited to be able to go there and like seeing like I'm reading the maps and the
tech pages.
Yeah, is what intrigued me. I don't know about the most, but as far as that was when I was attention to detail, because I'm like, what am I missing here? What am I even doing the whole who has the omega level mutant like I'm just like, and then it gives you the list of like what they I'm like what is, oh my god, all these names. It's like you would think it was just, again, for me being someone, if you're reading this and you've gone down the life of X-Men, you're probably on JD's level of having the giddiness of it. I'm having the giddiness of this, just being like, I know of these people, of these characters, and having them come and pop up and then being like, oh my god, there's that name. Cool, we're going to see them. Seeing the Fantastic Four right off the bat, I'm like, you could have, but I would have not been like, oh yeah, Fantastic Four is going to be in issue 1 of House of X, which was...
It's a great cameo.
Yep.
It got you excited.
It got you excited. And it got you excited to show the difference between the Mr. Fantastic, his viewpoint.
Yeah. No, it seems like the beautiful thing about this, it seems almost like a natural evolution of what mutants have to be. And all the exciting things accompanying the danger of it. You felt the weight of it. And the Richards and the Fantastic Four are a great family to show because they are such superheroes and beloved by the masses. Yeah. The X-Men have been feared and hated all their life. Yeah. When Cyclops says that, I've been told that I was less than everyone else my entire life. And I'm more. It gives me goosebumps. It's very, very... It's beautifully told. You had exciting moments with Jean and Logan. This goes deep cuts. I got excited like you got excited when Sage showed up.
See, yeah, that's the thing with me. It's like, I even knew it was one of those, I was like, Sage, why does that sound so familiar?
She's always been one of my favorites since she was developed over time with Chris Claremont. And Karima... She is a sentinel, a mutant sentinel, essentially. And for her to show up, I was the first panel that we see with the flower, Colossus.
All of them, so and cool. Showing 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, and showing the different Colossus. Storm. Is that Beat? No. Who would that be? 1 month ago?
I love that you're in there and you're trying to.
You gotta figure out who they are.
You feel the weight of it. You feel the history of it, but it doesn't feel like impenetrable. Yeah. It's presented to you in a way that if you don't know something, you want to know it. And with the internet now, you can find those things out if you care to. If not, this story reads without having to go back. Like they mention, I don't know if you read about the Genoshan event where 16 million mutants died.
Genoshan genocide or something.
Right. Yeah. So that was Grant Morrison. He's an amazing storyteller.
Yeah, I knew there's a lot of things
that he did with Frank Quitely and Ethan Van Sciver. They did some really excellent work with that.
There's just so many people that I don't even know, but I knew the names are familiar enough just over time. But to where I'm just like, I'm sure that's a cool experience. The middle part, that was so cute.
The Stan soapbox for this particular issue that they put in there was a lovely read.
And it hit home even for me just reading that and
especially
what we're doing. Yeah, exactly what we're doing.
It felt appropriate. I felt like just holding the book when we took it out of the bag and board, there was a nice weight to it.
No, yeah.
It's like a quality.
I was not actually prepared for it. But then I was like, oh no, they're giving us some stuff to keep you.
One thing that I will mention, it's almost like when you're in a theater and you're looking through dark 3D glasses, there's the brightness needs to go up on your monitor almost. And I don't think that does a real justice to what the colorist and artist is doing. Even the resolution looks a little muddy, to be frank.
I do see what you're talking about, but I'm more of
a digital
reader. But I still do like. That's why I'm excited for the next few weeks and all these ones. Because I do like to. I go get my Turtles. I'll go get every week to go get these ones to, support your local comic book shop.
Absolutely.
But for me, I'm that generation, guys. I'm the one where if I can, I will be, I'll read it on my iPad from any of the online subscription services.
As long as you're enjoying the story,
Mm-hmm.
however you read the story, as long as you're supporting the company and doing it correctly, then I think all for it. Let me know if wow, it does pop differently, because I suspect it does.
I feel like it would, because like you said, we're just looking at the cover of their preview of it.
Right, and that pops much more than in this. Oh,
yeah.
Massive. You see the work that the colorist is putting into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's beautiful, beautiful work. What is the colorist's name?
Color artist, Marte
Marti Gracia. I'm so sorry we're butchering your name. But we wanted to call you out because you are an artist. It does say color artist, and I do totally agree with that. There's a real sexiness to the art, too, when Sue Richards shows up and she's kind of talking nice with Cyclops. Mm-hmm. And I love the feeling of Cyclops saying congratulations on your wedding to the Thing. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, thanks, Slim. Their camaraderie, but you do get this weight of Cyclops. Okay, well, I'm letting you take Sabretooth.
Yeah. He's like, we'll
talk about it later.
Yeah.
This is going to go sour pretty quick. The MCU, over a decade, with their 23 movies, have done an exceptional job of bringing together the experience for the masses that us comic book readers have been getting for decades. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to feel that itch when you flip a page and you're like, oh man, Sue Richards and the Fantastic Four, they're here with the X-Men. Mm-hmm. We've been experienced. That is the universe. Yeah. It is a shared place. Jonathan Hickman is swinging for the fences here. He's been developing this idea, I think, for a year, maybe he's been working on this. You see the work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how it starts. Humans of planet Earth, while you slept, the world changed. Professor X. I was just right after that one line at the opening, I'm like, what are we going from here? What's your take on that first page?
I feel like from that first page, I feel like Professor X has been taken over by the Shadow King or somebody bad. And he's being manipulated. And it's going to be a real colossal blunder when it's revealed that he's a bad guy. I don't know what he's birthing here.
It looks like the Matrix.
I don't
know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
What is he up to?
Even his stance? It's just...
Isn't he supposed to be in a wheelchair? I don't know.
Yeah. No, all of this, it's I don't know.
There's a real beauty and elegance to it. Storm, things seem regal. Mm-hmm. The mutants presented in this way, you do feel like they're homo superior. Mm-hmm. They invite these people to go along. They finish talking to them, and Magneto's just like, so what have we learned? And it's he's not talking to the humans. He's talking to the little lady twins. Mm-hmm. And they've just been reading these people's minds, and they just lay it all out. They're not to be trusted. It's interesting that Magneto is chosen as this ambassador. Yeah. It certainly gives it a danger. Magneto is not Professor X. He will not put up with anything from these people. You see him literally looking down his nose at them. Mm-hmm. It's very, very complicated. Do you know what I mean? It's complicated in a worldly appropriate way.
Worldly appropriate way. The last part of this issue, after reading the mind and everything and being like, oh, did you just bring me here to threaten us? He's like, no, this ain't a threat. I'm just letting you know you're here in Jerusalem. You humans love your religion and your symbolism, mm-hmm. So I'm bringing you to Jerusalem, mm-hmm. which is biblical in its own sense. Right. These were your new gods. This last two panels can start a lot of stuff going.
A lot of conflict.
Conflict,
and a lot of things to discuss. I love the idea of different opinions. Mm-hmm. I am inspired by different opinions. If somebody disagrees with me, as long as that person is open to a dialogue, I think that's rich. As a storyteller, I want to understand their point of view. I want to be able to honestly write a character who I completely disagree with in a way that is completely believable. You know, it's a difficult setting, and I love that it's, even though it is political, it's not political to a sense of like today. You know, it feels like regardless of where your stance is on anything, it's still an escape. But you recognize the political problems here. You recognize the divides that are about to happen. And it is very complicated.
It's power is power at the end of the day, is what Magneto is pointing out. I'm bringing you here to show you that we're done being treated the way we've been treated.
Well, he says the world could be ours.
Yeah.
This is our land.
Yeah.
Stay away from it.
Stay away from it. That's all we're doing. We're just claiming this. Like, we're just letting you know.
Yeah, humanity won't respond well to that.
No.
It's not going to go well.
No.
I'm impressed. I am eager for more. I went into it skeptical because I really have a beautiful ending for my X-Men story.
Yeah.
Skeptical, but open. And I would say, without question, you get your money's worth with this issue. I would give it a B, solid B, with a tentatively optimistic and even hopeful. Like, I want that addiction. I miss that from my life, the weekly comic book visit. Listening to Jonathan Hickman, we were at San Diego Comic-Con this week. We went to a panel of his, listening to him online, what he's been tweeting. He's clearly not comfortable with press and pitching something. He wants the work to speak for itself, which I completely respect. He seems excited, and he has some long-term plans here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. I give it an A.
Nice.
I give it an A because I'm so intrigued for more. I told you at the beginning, I'm looking forward to reading it again.
Right.
It leaves me with cliffhangers, which I go back and forth on some issues where I'm like, oh, I don't want that. But with this, knowing it's one of 6,
kind of one of 12.
One of 12, yeah, it's all intertwined. And it gives you a lot to run off of. Art looks great, the story's great, it's a detailed story. Like, Jonathan Hickman did his work.
And it's cool for Garen, you know, I knew Jonathan Hickman's name. He did a couple S.H.I.E.L.D. miniseries. I read his Secret Warriors. I didn't read his Fantastic Four or his Avengers run, but I knew his name. And Garen last week did not know his name.
Didn't know who he was.
But now
I'm sorry, John.
He's made an impression.
And yeah, I'm intrigued for Power of X issue 1. I'm intrigued for issue 2 of House of X.
Absolutely. This is going to be a 12-part series. We're going to go through every issue.
And like we said, I gave it an A from my viewpoint. JD gave it a B. Solid B.
And honestly, depending on where the story goes, this
could add to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I could see if it goes correctly. This issue becoming an A. Does that make sense? You know, I'm very excited. I'm like, keep swinging for the fences. Keep doing it. I hope that there's a little bit more Colossus.
That's definitely what he wants. We want to know what you guys give it.
Where was Kitty Pryde? My crush. God damn.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. Kitty's coming, I'm sure.
We want to know what you guys think as well. So just click on the comic quality poll. Let us know if you give it an A, B, C, D, or F. And then also in the comments why you gave it that. Start the discussion, and we want to know.
12 weeks straight.
You
know, this excitement could build in a really great way. So I hope that you guys will join us for next time on Investigating Comics Club.
To be continued. To where it did reach out.
We need your support to improve our. She's a pretty late addition.
I don't know that much about. Damn it. I can get a sound stage. Just rub that down. People. 2:25 in the morning. It's too loud for any dog to be barking.
I think that's all of it.